Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live session of the Aussizz talk show. Today we are going to be discussing everything about partner visa. So I'm here to answer a lot of questions and discuss a lot of things about the partner visa process, how the application works, what sort of options everyone has. This is, I think, one of the options that a lot of people don't consider in their journey, and I'm here to answer some questions related to that. So we'll start this session in a few minutes once everyone is here. And then towards the end of the session, we'll also have time to speak about different other questions, or we will have time to answer some of the other questions that people might have. So there will be time for that as well. But for now, welcome everyone who's joined. We'll start very soon. Okay, everyone. So, as I said previously, this live session is going to be all about partner visas. We are here to discuss some key requirements for partner visa and what is the process. There is a lot of confusion about the process for a partner visa. So, I'm here to simplify this for you guys. Let's start. So, my name is Devesh Naik. I am a registered migration agent, and I will be doing this live session today for everyone. Let's start with the basics. Who can apply for a partner visa? So, to apply for a partner visa, you must be in either an engaged, either a married or a de facto relationship with an Australian citizen or a permanent resident or an eligible New Zealand citizen, right? So, what are the types of partner visas? Right now, there are different types of partner visas. There are onshore partner visa. So, those are subclass 820 and 801. There are offshore partner visa. So, that is subclass 309 and 100. And then there is also the option of an offshore prospective marriage visa, which also leads to a partner visa. Now, as I said, partner visa onshore, the subclass is 820, which is also called the provisional visa. And then you have to basically be on that visa for 2 years, or at least wait for 2 years after you have applied for the partner visa. And then you can basically provide additional documentation to be considered for the 801 visa, which is the permanent visa. Right now, there are different ways to go about the whole partner visa process, and this is very important to understand. If we talk about this particular chart that is in front of you, so there are three ways that you can go about with a partner visa, right? So the first is you apply for a prospective marriage visa. So let's say that you are offshore, you want to apply for a prospective marriage visa. So you have decided to get married to an Australian citizen or a permanent resident. You first apply for a subclass 300, which is a prospective marriage visa, right? And then once you have received the visa, then you come onshore and you get married to your partner who's an Australian citizen or a permanent resident. And then that application will be converted into a subclass 820 visa. And after that, the process is the same for an onshore partner visa. Now, let's say that you are onshore or you are offshore, but you don't want to go down the prospective marriage visa path. Then there are two options here. First is that you apply for a visitor visa to Australia. If the visitor visa is granted to you and the visitor visa does not have a no further stay condition on it, then you can come onshore and you can apply for a partner visa, which is the onshore partner visa. Considering that once you come here, then you get married or you are in a de facto relationship. If there is a no further stay condition on your visitor visa, then you will not be able to apply for an onshore partner visa. Then you will have to go for the offshore option. Now, the other option is that you go for an offshore partner visa. So if you are already married to an Australian permanent resident or an Australian citizen, and you want to just apply for a partner visa from overseas, from your home country, then you can apply for an offshore partner visa, which is the subclass 309. And then once that visa is granted, you can come on shore. And then the final stage for that particular option is to apply for the subclass 100 visa. Now, for the partner visa, the main thing that you need to prove to the department is that you are in a relationship with an Australian citizen or a permanent resident. So, as I said previously, you could be in a registered relationship, you could be in a married relationship, or a de facto relationship, right? So, there are three main options to prove that you are in a relationship. The first is a marriage certificate. Second is de facto relationship. And third is if you register your relationship with the relevant state authority. So if we are talking about New South Wales, for example, New South Wales has the authority named New South Wales Births, Deaths and Marriages. If you register your relationship with them, which is a de facto relationship, then you can apply for the partner visa through that. Now, there are four main aspects to the relationship that you need to prove when you are applying for a partner visa, because the visa is being granted to you on the basis that you have a relationship, like a genuine relationship with an Australian citizen or a permanent resident. So the four key aspects of your relationship are very important, and you will have to prove those to the department. The first aspect here is the social awareness of the relationship, right? So that's called the social aspect of the relationship. Social aspects are normally how the society or people around you, your friends, your family, your relatives, how they look at your relationship with your partner, right? So are they aware that you are married to your partner? Are they happy with that marriage, right? So you can prove that in a lot of different ways. Have you spent significant time with your partner? Have you traveled with your partner, right? Is your family happy with that relationship, right? Were they a part of your marriage, right? So all of that comes in the social aspect of your relationship. Then comes the financial commitment you have to each other. So financial commitment is normally what are your financial goals in the future, and how you and your partner are actually supporting each other in terms of your finances. So a lot of the times people have they would have aspirations as a couple, as a married couple, that they want to buy a house together, they want to buy a car together, right? They have some assets together, they might have some investments together, right? So all of those are a part of your financial commitment to your partner, and that's how you prove that that aspect of your relationship exists, right? Then comes the living arrangements of your relationship. So normally what the department looks into is what sort of arrangements you have in your household, right? So nowadays, in your household, you could be interested in doing certain things, your partner could be interested in doing certain things. You could be interested in, let's say, cleaning the dishes, your partner is more interested in cooking, right? So the department wants to generally know that how you guys plan your household aspects, how you guys live together, how you guys manage your household together, who does the grocery shopping, do you guys do that together, how you guys enjoy doing all of those small parts of your life together, right? And then comes the mutual commitment, right? So the mutual commitment you both have to each other, and that is basically, for example, to give you a simple example, let's say that your partner has a certain hobby, right? It could be photography, right? So how do you support your partner in that particular hobby? Like nowadays people have their own career aspirations, but at the same time they also want to do certain other things in their life, right? So what the department really wants to know is how are you both committed to each other, how do you both support each other in your daily life, in your career aspirations, in your other hobbies, in your other aspirations, right? How you both manage things around each other together, right? So these are the four main aspects of the relationship that you will need to prove or fulfill to the department, and that's how you will be considered for the partner visa. Then comes the sponsor eligibility for the partner visa, right? So partner visa, basically, as I said, there are two aspects to it. One is, of course, the applicant. So you as the applicant, you are applying for the partner visa, and then the Australian citizen or the permanent resident who's your partner is your sponsor, right? So here the main thing that we need to understand is that the sponsor also has certain requirements that they need to meet. One of which is they can only sponsor a maximum of two partners. There are some limited circumstances in which that can be exceeded, but mainly you can only sponsor a maximum of two partners. If you have previously already sponsored someone, then there should at least be a 5-year gap between the two sponsorships, right? And the third thing that the department mainly looks at when they're looking at the sponsors, part of the thing, they also look at the overall conduct of the partner. So their character history, right? What sort of character history they have, and that can be proven through various different ways. Now comes what happens when your provisional visa. So basically partner visa is it's two stages, right? So there is a provisional side to it, and then there is a permanent side to it. So normally you apply for both of those visas together, and then once the provisional visa is granted, then after a certain period, you are then eligible to apply for the permanent visa. So normally once you apply for both of those visas together, and from that application date, you have to wait for at least 2 years before you can be considered for the second stage, which is the permanent visa, right? So once that provisional visa is granted, which is the subclass 820 in case if you are doing an onshore application, and a subclass 309 in case you are doing an offshore application. Once that is granted, you can travel to and from Australia multiple times. You have the right to travel, right? You also have full working rights. So you can come to Australia and you can work, you can continue your work, and you also can apply for Medicare. Medicare is basically some medical benefits that you can get, and you can apply for that once your partner visa application is lodged, right? Now let's talk about the permanent stage. So when you lodge your initial application, which is the subclass 820 and the 309, after that, as I said, you have to wait for 2 years. And once you have completed that 2-year period, you normally receive a notification from the department that they are ready to now assess your application for the permanent stage or the permanent visa, which is the subclass 801 or the 100 visa. And at that point, you will need to prove to the department that you are still in a married relationship with your partner. You are still going to, continue your relationship. So your relationship is genuine and continuing. You are still committed to your partner. You are still, in a shared, you are having a shared life with your partner and in the exclusion of all others. So at that stage, then you will be ready to basically provide your documents for the final stage, the final permanent visa. And at that point, you will have to prove all of those aspects that I have previously discussed to the department again, right? Now comes the application. So this is, as I discussed, you have to wait for 2 years from the date of lodgement of your initial stage, which is the subclass 820, and you will in between, let's say within that 2 year period that you are waiting, or you are, let's say, living with your partner, you will also need to update the department of any changes in your circumstances, right? Now, those could be change in your contact details. It could be change in your passport details, your marital status, your de facto status, right? If you've had a child within that period, then you will have to inform them. If your relationship ends, you will have to inform the department of that as well. And if your relationship has ended due to domestic violence or any other problem, then you will have to let the department know. In certain cases, the department can still consider you for the permanent stage, but mainly you will still have to let the department know, and it's a case to case basis thing where it will be depending upon your situation. You'll be able to understand whether you can still continue on for the permanent stage of the partner visa, right? So this is the partner visa, and basically I've tried to cover most of the aspects of the partner visa. When you do the process, there is a lot of documentation that goes into it. So of course, it's, and this is all based on your circumstances. Everyone's circumstances or situation is different from the other person. So there is a lot of there are a lot of documentation that go into it, and those can be discussed in detail. If any of you actually need help with your partner visa process, you can always contact us and we can assist you. And now basically we have some time for some questions. They could be related to partner visa because this session is about partner visa, or they could be related to other migration queries that you would have. So we can discuss those. Let's see if you've got any questions. Okay, so we have a question here from C. Visa. Can one join a partner on protection visa? Yes, you can join a partner on protection visa. Again, it depends on your partner's status as well. What is their current status in Australia? But yes, that is possible. So while we wait for the questions, let me quickly just give you a brief of what we've just recently discussed in this last few minutes. Basically, we are here to discuss partner visa. Partner visa process, again, is 2 stages. There is an onshore process, like you can do an onshore application or you can do an offshore application. And I've discussed all of the requirements for the partner visa. There are some requirements for the sponsor, which are also being discussed. And now we've got another question. So we've got a question here from Fahad. What is the fastest way to bring a partner from offshore after getting a 189 or a 190 visa as a single? What should be the best way to marry and bring partner from offshore? So Fahad, I've just discussed this in this particular presentation. There are 2 main options here. You can apply for an onshore partner visa. To do that, first thing you will have to do is apply for a visitor visa for your partner. And if the visitor visa is granted and she comes onshore and doesn't have a no further stay condition on the visitor visa, then you can apply for an onshore partner visa. The other option is that if you want to just apply for a partner visa from offshore while your partner is in their own country, then you can apply for an offshore partner visa. Now, offshore partner visa, the processing times can vary based on the country that you are applying from. So the country of the applicant, processing times, for the offshore partner visa are quite long. So the more beneficial option would be that you try for a visitor visa first. You bring your partner here, onshore, and then you can apply for a onshore partner visa, which can be processed in a much lesser time than an offshore partner visa. So I've got another question from Shefali. If we apply onshore, how long does it take? Now, see, onshore partner visas, they can take it again. It depends on which country the applicant is from. But what I've recently seen is onshore partner visas are taking somewhere around 8 to 9 months. In some cases, it is taking lesser time. In some cases, it is taking more time. But average, I would say about 8 to 9 months. Okay, so we've got another question from Shefali. If one of the partner is on student visa and other partner is a citizen and they got married in Australia, a partner has to complete studies. Okay. Now, see, when you apply for the partner visa, let's say that your partner is a citizen and you are in Australia on a student visa, you apply for the partner visa. Now, when you apply for another visa, the way it works in Australia is that when you are on a visa and you apply for another visa, you are granted a bridging visa, right? To bridge the gap between those two visas. Now, when you apply for the partner visa, the bridging visa that you will be granted will have the same conditions as your previous visa that you were holding. So, what you need to then do is one, if the bridging visa is not active, because if you are applying from a student visa, then most likely that student visa will be active, and the bridging visa will only become active once your student visa expires. And if that is the case, then you have to meet all of the conditions of your student visa. And as you said, your question was, do you have to complete studies? So if you are on a student visa, then the condition of the student visa is that you must be enrolled in a full-time course. So yes, that condition will need to be met until the student visa expires, and then the bridging visa starts, and then there are no problems. But yes, until then, you will have to continue your studies. Okay, so while we're waiting for more questions, as I said, partner visas, you can also apply for a prospective marriage visa, which is again another option. So if you are planning to get married to your partner, but you haven't done so yet, then you can apply for a prospective marriage visa. Your partner can come onshore. You can have your wedding here in Australia, and then you can basically change that application to a onshore partner visa. So we've got another question from Shifali. What's the best time to apply, after completing studies or ongoing? Okay. Now, I don't think I understand your question properly, Shifali, but the there is no best time to apply for a partner visa, right? So irrespective, if let's say if you are studying and you apply for a partner visa, then your student visa will stay active, right? So you will have to continue your studies. The best time would be now, only because then once you apply, then you can at least start getting, you can be considered for at least the provisional visa. So the best time is always now. But yes, it depends on your circumstances as well. So we'll have to discuss your circumstances in detail. If you want, you can have a consultation, and we can discuss your situation in more detail as well. Okay, guys. So I think this was the session for partner visa. We've got some interesting questions here, and those have been answered. If you still want some more information on this, or you want help with your partner visa process, make sure you book a consultation with us. Though that information will be available to you after this live session. If you still have any queries, you've joined this live session late, feel free to leave your questions. A form will be available to you to leave your questions, and I will try my best to answer. You can also reach out to me directly on my email, which is devesh.naik at aussizgroup.com. Right? We've got one last question here. When I will be granted bridging visa? Once study visa gets over, or will it take more time? I'm asking because whether I have to apply TR once I finish studies. Okay. So bridging visa, Shefali, see, bridging visa is granted to you straight away. So whenever you apply for a visa, your bridging visa is granted to you straight away. The bridging visa does not become active until your current visa expires, right? So for example, let's say that you apply for a partner visa today and your current student visa is expiring, let's say at the end of December. Your bridging visa will be granted to you, but it will not be active until the end of December. It will only become active once your current visa expires, right? So it will be granted again. Should you apply for a TR or should you go for your partner visa? That again depends on your circumstances. I think we need to discuss this in a bit more detail. So I would suggest that you book a consultation with me and we can have a discussion about this. As I said, thank you everyone for joining this live session for partner visa. And if you have any queries, I'll say it again. You can leave me an email on devesh.naik at aussizgroup.com. Thank you so much for joining this session. And please feel free to follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and you can get more answers to your queries. Anything related to your migration queries, we can answer them. We do offer a lot of different services like skilled visas, partner visas, a lot of other services as well, like English coaching and all of those things. So you can get answers to your questions on our social media platforms. If that does not help, then you can always reach out to one of us. We have a lot of migration agents working. You can reach out to one of us. The form will be available to you at the end.